Under the haunting glow of a blood-red moon, Jessica embarked on a late-night drive down a desolate highway, the rhythmic hum of her car's engine echoing through the empty expanse. The air was thick with an eerie stillness as shadows danced ominously across the winding road. Miles passed, and an unsettling feeling crept over Jessica, as if unseen eyes were watching her every move, ignoring the chill that ran down her spine. She pressed on, the darkness outside swallowing the feeble beams of her headlights. It was then that she noticed a flickering light in the distance, a dimly lit gas station that seemed to materialize out of the inky blackness. Relieved to find some semblance of civilization, Jessica pulled into the station. The air was heavy with an otherworldly silence, broken only by the distant howl of an unseen creature. As she approached the aging gas pump, the station's flickering neon sign cast an eerie glow on the deserted surroundings. While refueling, a voice echoed through the stillness, barely audible whispers carried by the wind. Jessica dismissed it as a figment of her imagination, until she caught a glimpse of a figure in the station's window, a spectral silhouette that vanished as quickly as it appeared, unease settling in. Jessica decided to leave the desolate station behind. As she merged back onto the highway, the once familiar road now seemed labyrinthine, twisting and turning with malevolent intent. The whispers returned, more insistent this time, as if the very air was whispering secrets only the night knew. Suddenly, her car's engine sputtered, headlights flickering like dying embers. Panic set, and as Jessica coasted to a stop on the deserted road, alone in the suffocating darkness, she fumbled for her phone, only to find it inexplicably devoid of signal. As Jessica stepped out of her car, an unnatural fog enveloped her surroundings, distorting reality. Strange shadows morphed into ethereal forms that seemed to dance at the edge of her vision. Whispers grew into unintelligible murmurs, echoing tales of tragedy and despair. In the distance, a dilapidated mansion emerged from the fog, its silhouette ominous against the moonlit night. With no other option, Jessica approached the mansion's decrepit facade, welcoming her into its forsaken embrace. As she ventured deeper into the mansion's bowels, Jessica discovered forgotten rooms adorned with faded portraits telling tales of a cursed bloodline. Each step echoed through the hollow halls, accompanied by ghostly whispers that seemed to beckon. He are further into the heart of the malevolent manor. The air grew colder, and Jessica's breath formed misty clouds as she reached a grand hall, filled with an unsettling silence. In the center, an antique mirror reflected a ghastly image, not her own, but that of a tormented spirit trapped in the spectral realm. A sudden realization gripped Jessica. The mansion was a purgatory for lost souls, and she had become an unwitting guest in this macabre theater of the supernatural. Desperate to escape, she retraced her steps, but the mansion seemed to defy the laws of space and time, trapping her in a nightmarish loop. As Jessica's sanity unraveled, the mansion revealed its darkest secret, a malevolent entity that fed on the fear of those ensnared within its walls. The tortured souls pleaded for release, their anguished cries reverberating through the haunted corridors. With each passing moment, Jessica's essence became entwined with the mansion's dark history. She became a phantom, a spectral echo destined to roam the cursed halls for eternity. The once desolate highway now stood as a gateway to the haunted realm, where unsuspecting travelers would unknowingly become part of the mansion's ever-growing tapestry of horror. On a moonlit night, Emma found herself navigating a winding mountain road, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to whisper secrets to the rustling leaves. The dense fog clung to the air, creating an ethereal atmosphere as she drove through the isolated forest with each twist and turn. The shadows played tricks on her mind, and an unsettling feeling settled in the pit of her stomach. As Emma continued her solitary journey, the headlights of her car cut through the darkness, revealing glimpses of gnarled branches that reach out like skeletal fingers. The road, barely visible in the dim light, stretched endlessly before her, weaving through the dense woods like a forgotten pathway to the unknown. The rhythmic hum of the engine was the only companion in this desolate landscape, yet the forest seemed to respond with a symphony of eerie sounds, distant howls, creaking branches, and the occasional scurrying of unseen creatures. Emma couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes peered from the shadows, following her every move. Suddenly, a figure appeared on the side of the road, a hitchhiker. Perhaps Emma hesitated, but eventually decided to stop, feeling a mix of sympathy and apprehension. The stranger, cloaked in tattered clothing, approached the car with a haunted look in their eyes. Without uttering a word, they climbed into the back seat. As Emma resumed her journey, an unsettling silence enveloped the car. The mysterious passenger remained shrouded in darkness, and their presence seemed to cast a chilling aura throughout the vehicle. Emma's attempts at conversation were met with a muted response, leaving her with a growing sense of unease. The road ahead twisted and turned with increasing complexity, leading Emma into a dense thicket. The fog thickened, reducing visibility to mere feet. Panic set in as the feeling of being lost overwhelmed her. Glancing into the rearview mirror, Emma saw that the mysterious hitchhiker had disappeared without a trace. Desperation took hold as Emma navigated the disorienting labyrinth of trees. Unseen forces seemed to manipulate the path, turning the once familiar road into an incomprehensible maze. The car's headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced along the twisted branches, creating a surreal tableau of horror as if guided by an unseen hand. Emma arrived at an abandoned village hidden deep within the forest. The air grew colder, and a profound silence settled over the ghost town. Abandoned homes loomed like specters of the past, their shattered windows reflecting the haunted history of the forsaken place. Emma stepped out of the car, the silence broken only by the haunting creaks of forgotten structures. Shadows seemed to move independently, casting unnatural shapes on the decaying walls. She wandered through the ghostly village, discovering remnants of a tragedy that had befallen its inhabitants. In the central square, a dilapidated church stood as a macabre centerpiece inside. Flickering candles illuminated a scene frozen in time, a spectral congregation trapped in eternal prayer. Unearthly whispers filled the air, recounting the tale of a cursed village and the vengeful spirits that bound its residents to the ethereal realm. Emma's heart raced as she realized she had become entangled in the ghostly narrative of the village. The once silent spirits now clamored for release, their anguished cries echoing through the empty streets. Unseen hands seemed to pull at her, urging her to uncover the truth hidden within the village's tragic history. As Emma delved deeper into the mysteries of the ghost town, she stumbled upon an ancient ritual site. Symbols etched in stone hinted at a malevolent force that had cursed the village, and Emma understood that she was an unwitting pawn in a spectral chess game played across generations. With each revelation, the village's tormented spirits grew more restless. Shadows morphed into ethereal figures, their spectral forms pleading for liberation. Emma faced a choice: to succumb to the spectral forces that sought to consume her, or to confront the malevolent entity perpetuating the curse. In the dim glow of the moon, Emma confronted the malevolent force at the heart of the village. The air crackled with paranormal energy as a ghastly apparition materialized, its presence sending shivers down her spine. With determination, Emma unraveled the threads of the curse, exposing the dark secrets that bound the village in perpetual suffering. As the curse unraveled, the village's spectral inhabitants found peace. Their tortured souls finally liberated. The moonlit forest, once a realm of haunting shadows, returned to an eerie calm. The fog lifted, revealing the road stretching ahead, no longer a sinister pathway, but a passage to the safety of the outside world. Emma, forever changed by the harrowing experience, drove away from the now silent village. The echoes of ghostly whispers lingered in her mind, a haunting reminder of the night she had ventured into the heart of the unknown, where the line between the living and the dead blurred in the moonlit haze. In the depth of the night's embrace, Sarah ventured into the unknown, where the road ahead seemed to extend endlessly into a labyrinth of shadows. The air, heavy with an otherworldly stillness, clung to her skin like a shroud of anticipation. The dim glow of her car's headlights cut through the thick fog that veiled the surroundings in an enigmatic dance of veils. As she drove further into the mysterious expanse, the radio's once familiar tunes twisted into haunting melodies, distorted by an unseen force. Static whispers accompanied the eerie soundtrack, adding layers of disquiet to the unfolding journey. A sense of unease settled in her chest, amplified by the desolate landscape that unfolded before her. A flickering sign materialized from the obscurity, guiding her towards a weathered gas station. Its neon lights, struggling against the encroaching darkness, cast a spectral glow on the worn pavement. The sign creaked in the wind, a mournful wail echoing through the desolation, ignoring the ominous atmosphere. Sarah pulled into the gas station, its dilapidated appearance telling tales of forgotten years. The attendant, an old man with weathered features and weary eyes, greeted her with a knowing look. He warned of the notorious stretch of road that lay ahead. A place whispered about in hushed tones, where the boundary between the living and the spectral blurred. Dismissing his caution as folklore, Sarah thanked him and resumed her journey into the heart of the unknown. As she pressed on, the road itself seemed to rebel against her presence. It twisted and turned in unnatural ways, creating a surreal landscape that challenged the very fabric of reality. The fog thickened, shrouding her in an ethereal cocoon, and the radio's static grew more insistent, weaving a dissonant symphony that echoed the unseen forces at play. The ghostly figures, once distant specters in her rearview mirror, now emerged from the shadows, Their translucent forms danced along the roadside, their hollow eyes fixated on her with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. Panic took hold as she realized the gravity of the situation. But the gas station attendant's warning echoed in her mind like an ominous refrain in a desperate attempt to escape the encroaching darkness. Sarah fumbled for her phone to call for help. However, the signal betrayed her, leaving her stranded in a nightmarish realm where the rules of the tangible world no longer applied. The temperature inside the car plummeted, and her breath formed icy clouds as she stepped out into the spectral fog. The figures closed in, their mournful wails growing louder. A distant howl echoed through the mist, as if the very fabric of the supernatural realm acknowledged her presence. The gas station, once a beacon of dubious safety, reappeared on the horizon like a haunted mirage dot as Sarah approached. The old attendant, now more spectral than before, uttered a cryptic prophecy. The road demands a toll, and not all who wander return. The gas station's interior, a macabre blend of decay and the supernatural, revealed shelves stocked with expired goods and the lingering scent of forgotten years. Desperation seized her as she sought answers from the spectral guardian of the gas station. His eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity as he spoke of a forgotten pact, an ancient curse that ensnared unsuspecting travelers. The ghostly figures were not mere phantoms. They were the echoes of lost souls forever condemned to relive their doomed journeys. Determined to break free from the spectral prison, Sarah ventured back onto the haunted road, the procession of ghostly figures trailing behind her. The landscape twisted and contorted, morphing into grotesque shapes that defied the laws of nature. Time lost its coherence as she became entangled in the web of the supernatural. The gas station reappeared, and the old attendant repeated his cryptic warning. The cycle repeated, trapping Sarah in an unending loop of horror. The spectral figures, her own car now among them, bore witness to the toll exacted by the malevolent force that lurked in the shadows. Sarah, forever bound to the cursed road, wandered through the fog, a lost soul ensnared in a never-ending nightmare. Each step echoed through the haunted corridors of time, a macabre dance with the unknown that transcended the boundaries between the living and the spectral realm. The road, a malevolent entity of its own, held her captive in a perpetual dance with the haunting forces that lurked in the forsaken night. In the midst of this endless dance veiled in mist, Sarah's desperation and fatigue deepened. The cursed road seemed poised to pierce through her spiritual armor and draw her into its own essence. The shadows, the ghostly figures swirling around her, seemed to spin a melancholic song, offering nothing but a repetition of the past. At midnight, under the dim light of a faded moon, the yellow gas station reappeared. Neon lights created a spectral glow on the worn asphalt. Sarah realized that this haunted zone was more a center of the nightmare than a sanctuary. The doors of the cursed gas station symbolized a passage into an unforeseen future rather than a refuge. Inside, behind the yellowed doors, she encountered a forgotten array of products. On darkened shelves, a world that had once been alive now seemed to have been forgotten. A melancholy atmosphere drifted among faded labels and dusty shelves. With her eyes veiled in mist, Sarah faced the old attendant once again. His eyes now gleamed with a wisdom and sorrow lost in time, as if he were no longer entirely human, seeking a way to escape. Sarah questioned him, but the old attendant explained that the secrets and sorrows on the cursed road were echoes of a lost past. The road demands a toll, and not all who wander here return, the old attendant uttered. Sarah wanted to break free from the curse, but each step drew her deeper. The night, once again wrapped in the embrace of ghostly figures, unfolded. Sarah, ensnared in this endless cycle, found her ghostly car standing among other lost souls. The cursed road continued its dance, keeping her captive in a perpetual waltz with the eerie forces that lurked in the forsaken night. The ghostly figures, now a mere memory hovering around her, symbolized a forgotten past on the haunted road.